Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. I am Neha Paryani, and in this session we are going to start with a new subject, that is economics, and specifically statistics in economics. For understanding statistics, it is very important to understand what is economics. So today's class will be the introduction to the economics subject. So let us begin. Okay, so the topics that will be covered in this video are some of the basic terms related to the subject, definition of economics, what is ordinary business of life, then what is economic problem, why economic problem arise, economy and its components, and lastly, what are the factors of production. All these topics are to be covered in this video. First, let us begin with the basic terms of economics. So, if you're new for the subject or if you're new for the commerce subject, then it is very important to know these terms. Okay, so first term that we have is consumer. Now, who is a consumer? So a consumer is a person who purchases goods and services for personal use. Okay, so usually we all are consumers, right? We purchase some goods and services on everyday basis in our life. Suppose you're going and purchasing a chocolate from a store, you're eating it, so you become a consumer. Okay, you're purchasing a chocolate for your personal use, not for the purpose of resale. Then you become a consumer. Okay, then we have the second term called producer. Now the one who produces the goods. See, producer in film industry is a very different concept, whereas here the word producer means the person who produces or who manufacture the goods. And another very important thing, goods here is nothing but the products. Okay, the products that we consume, like chocolate is a product, pen is a product. Okay, here goods are referred to items or products. The person who manufacture these goods is known as the producer, or we can also call him as a manufacturer. Then the third term that we have is service holder or employee. So employee is a person who is in job to earn wages or salary. Okay, a person who is working for somebody else to earn some money will be known as an employee. Okay, he should be working for somebody else, he should be providing some services for them, and in return the other person for whom he is working will provide him wage or a salary. Okay, so wage is nothing but the monetary compensation which is provided on daily basis. Okay, suppose I'm working in an agricultural farm, so I will be getting wages, means on everyday basis I will be getting some money. Whereas if I'm working in an office, then I will be getting salary on monthly basis. Okay, the difference between wages and salary is wages we get on daily basis and salary we get it on monthly basis. Okay, a person who is working for somebody else to earn some money will be known as an employee or a service holder. The next term that we have is service provider or employer. Now, the person who is providing services for a payment, it means the person who is recruiting or who is hiring some other persons to work for him. Okay, suppose I have a business, I'm the owner of the business, and I have two employees into my business. So employees are the persons who are working for somebody else, right? So employee number 1 and employee number 2. So these employees are providing me some services, they are helping me in my business activities. Okay, so I am earning profits in my business, in return I am providing them some of the salary or wage. Okay, now the persons who are helping me, they are the employees, whereas I am the owner here, so I am the employer, the service provider. Okay, then economic activities. Now this is a very important term. An activity undertaken for monetary gain is called as economic activity. First of all, let us understand what is meant by gain. So gain is some kind of earning. Okay, if I'm earning something, then we call it as a gain. What is monetary gain then? If I'm earning money, we call it as monetary gain. Okay, now if we undertake some activity for monetary gain, it becomes an economic activity. See, I'll give you a simple example. Okay, there is a teacher. Okay, the teacher is teaching to a student. Okay, in return student is providing fees for the teacher. So teacher is conducting the activity of teaching. Okay, in return she is getting some of the monetary gain, some money in return. This becomes an economic activity. Whereas the same teacher is also a mother. Okay, she is also teaching to her own kids. Okay, to her own children. So then these children in return will not provide any money to the teacher, to their mother. Okay, same teacher is teaching to her children, but in return she is not receiving any money. Now this does not become an economic activity. Similarly, if a chef is cooking in a restaurant, in return he will get some salary, okay, for in the form of money. That is an economic activity. Whereas the same chef is also a mother at home, so she will cook for the family. So while cooking for the family, she will not be receiving any monetary compensation or monetary gain. So that does not become an economic activity. It is a non-economic activity. So any activity undertaken in order to earn some money is known as economic activity. Then at last we have investment. Again, very important term when coming to subject. Okay, investment means we sometimes purchase some of the goods, okay, which we are not consuming in our daily life, but that can be used to create wealth in future. For example, I am investing my money in purchasing land, or I'm investing my money in purchasing plots or flats. Okay, I am not using this land. Okay, suppose I have my own house. Okay, then I'm investing my money in purchasing another flat. Okay, then if I have excess money, I'm again investing my money in purchasing a plot. So I can stay only at one home, right? I'm not using this property. But in future, if I sell the property, if I sell my land and plot, then I can gain some money. Okay, I can earn some money out of it. Okay, investment means purchasing some goods which we may use or may not use currently, but in future uh, it is going to give us some monetary benefits. Okay, investment could also be in jewelry, it could be in the financial instruments, shares, debentures. So all these things you will be learning in your various other subjects. Okay, that is what is investment. After basic terms, now let us understand what is the definition of economics. Okay, economics is the study of people and society, okay, who choose to employ scarce resources that could have alternative uses in order to produce various commodities that satisfy their wants, and to distribute them for consumption among various persons and groups in society. Okay, it must be looking complicated right now, but it's very simple. Okay, first of all, the word economics is derived from Greek language. It is a combination of two words, that is oikos, oikos and nomos. Okay, in Greek language, oikos is nothing but household, and nomos is nothing but management. Okay, it's the combination of these two words, which is nothing but household management, or we can say management of houses. Okay, so economics, they say that it is the study of people and society who choose to employ scarce resources. What is meant by scarce resources? See, in our uh, world, okay, every resources are scarce in the sense, so not sufficient. Okay, resources are not sufficient, right? So now you take an example. No matter how much money I give you, will it be sufficient for anyone? No. We all demand for more and more money. Similarly, we all demand for more and more resources. But uh, as per our in our world, there are no resources which can satisfy all the wants. The resources are scarce in nature, or they are not sufficient to satisfy all the human wants. Okay, so what we have to do? So we have to make a choice here. Okay, one example I will give you. Suppose you have 100 rupees with you. You have 100 rupees and you want to carry on three activities here. One thing is you want to purchase books. Okay, other thing is you want to eat some food as you're hungry, and the third thing could be you want to go for a movie. Okay, you do not have enough resources, that is you only have 100 rupees. Now this cannot be maximized. You cannot get more money. Now the value of books is also 100 rupees. The value of food is also 100 rupees. Movie ticket is also for rupees 100. Now you have to make a choice, right? You have to make a choice that which is your ultimate need. Okay, and which one you have to choose. So then this is what is the economics. It is the study of people and society, how people choose to employ these scarce resources. Money is the scarce resource here. It has alternative uses. It has three uses. I can choose any one of the option. Okay, study of this choice is nothing but economics here. Okay, then coming to another definition of economics, which is given by Alfred Marshall. So he says the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Now it is very important to understand what is meant by ordinary business of life. Okay, so if you remember, in basic terms we have discussed about the concept called economic activity. Okay, economic activity. What is economic activity? So any activity undertaken to earn some monetary gain. Okay, any activity undertaken to earn some money is called as economic activity. So Alfred Marshall says that the ordinary business of life is nothing but economic activity. He says each and everyone should be conducting some economic activity in order to earn livelihood and to lead the life. Okay, so the study of how a human being um, carries on any economic activity, how the human beings earn the livelihood, is nothing but economics as per Alfred Marshall. Okay, then coming on to what is economic problem. Okay, so here the economic problem is that there are three major economic problems. Okay, one is what to produce, second is how to produce, and third is for whom to produce. Okay, see, as we came to know that, so the human wants are unlimited. So human wants are never they cannot be satisfied. They are never satisfied. Okay, suppose I give you 100 rupees, you will ask me for 100 more. If I give you that also, again you will ask me for 1,000 more. Okay, there is no end to human wants. But we know that the resources are limited. Okay, resources cannot be maximized. Overall, in overall world, the resources are limited. So that is why the situation of scarcity occurs. Scarcity means when there are no sufficient resources to satisfy human wants. So in that case, as I told you, we have to make a choice. If we go back and check the example which I gave, now you have to make a choice that you want to purchase books, you want to eat food, or you want to go for a movie. Okay, you have to make choice. You cannot get all the three, right? So that due to that choices, the three major economic problem arises. What to produce? The producers. Again we discussed this topic in basic concepts. Who is a producer? The one who manufactures the goods. Now he has to make a decision that what should be produced, what is the ultimate need of human beings. Even though all resources have alternative uses, okay, like Land can be used for agricultural purpose. Land can also be used for construction of buildings. Land can be used for commercial purpose. Okay, for many things the same land can be used. The choice is in which way we should utilize this land. Clear? So cotton can be used uh, for uh, making garments. Okay, then cotton can be used in medical treatments. Okay, various other uses of cotton are there. Similarly, for all goods there are alternative uses. The question of what to produce arises here. Okay, which product will be purchased by the customer. Suppose a producer produces wrong product. Okay, and if the consumer does not purchase it, it will be loss for the producer. So the problem of what to produce arises. Then, if we get solution for what to produce, our next question will be how to produce it. Okay, how to produce it. So again, if we get the solution for how to produce it, if we find out various methods in which we reduce the cost, okay, in which we reduce the cost and then prepare a finished good which can be sold in the markets, then again the question arises for whom the for whom the products should be produced. Okay, suppose I produce a chocolate. So chocolate is not consumed by each and everyone, right? So if I go and sell a chocolate to an old person, there are the chances that he might not purchase it. If I go and sell books to an illiterate person, there are the chances that he might not purchase it. Then that will be loss for the producer. Okay, so it is also necessary to understand for whom the products should be produced and also in what quantities, right? So these are the three main problems of the economy. Now why do economic problem arises? Again the same reason, because human wants are unlimited but the resources to satisfy such wants are limited. Okay, the wants are unlimited and the resources are scarce, or we can say the resources are limited. So this difference create the problem of choice. Okay, problem of choice gives birth to three main problems, that is what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. Okay, then next moving on to, we have economy and its components. So there are four major main important components of economy. So till now you already know what is production. So production component is very important. With the production component the country earns national income. When we are able to satisfy our goods, our needs, because there is production happening in the country. Okay, if producers do not produce the goods or do not manufacture the goods, then how we will satisfy our wants? Okay, like, see, all the things are not readily available from the nature. If we want to eat rice, then first it should be grown by the farmer. So farmer will grow the paddy. That paddy will be further sent to industry for processing. Into industry it will be converted into rice which we can consume easily. Directly rice cannot be grown from nature. Okay, so production is very important. The sector which manufacture goods which satisfy the human wants is called production. Okay, now consumption. Again, consumption sector is also very important. If only production is happening in the country, if there is nobody to consume the goods in the sense use the goods, then so the production will also stop. Okay, like a farmer has grown rice, I mean the farmer has grown paddy, and paddy from industries it is converted into rice. If there is no consumer, if there is no purchaser, nobody purchases the rice, then do you think the farmer will again grow the paddy for the next time? No. Okay, so consumers are again very important for the economy, right? When consumers purchase the goods, the production also increases. Here, second component. Now we have third component, that is investment. Again, we have discussed what is investment in basic concepts. Investment is very important for the economy. Okay, there has to be certain extra income which we have to save, and after saving the income we need to invest it. Investment is purchasing some goods which we are not using currently, but later on we will definitely use it, or later on in future that uh, that asset or that goods can be used to create wealth. Suppose today I purchased a land for rupees 1 crore. Okay, if I keep the same land with me for 25 years, next to 25 years, definitely the value of the land will increase. Okay, the value of the land may reach up to 50 crores by next year, sorry, by next to 25 years. Okay, so 49 crores rupees wealth is created for me. Investments are very important. Okay, then we have distribution sector. So whatever the goods are produced, it is very important that they should be distributed in all the sectors of the economy. Okay, what if the goods are produced are only distributed in the urban areas, okay, not in rural areas, then that is not a good sign of a healthy economy. Okay, distribution of goods and services to all the sectors of economy, okay, is again an important component. Then at last we have factors of production. What are the factors of production, or we can say what are the things which are necessary for production? Okay, what are the things required for production? The main four factors of production are: first is land. See, when we want to produce something, it is very important to have a plant. Plant does not mean a tree or a living plant. Okay, plant in economics or commerce we call it as manufacturing industry or manufacturing unit. Manufacturing unit or place where the goods are manufactured. In simple words, you can say industry is called as plant or land. So if we want to establish an industry, it is very important to have land. Okay, first factor of production. Then second factor of production is labor. Okay, labor is nothing but the persons which carry on the production activities. See, all the production activities cannot be carried just by machinery. Okay, if I want to convert paddy into rice, so do you think that only machines will be enough? No, there has to be some human beings or labors which will help in the manufacturing process. They are labors. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, there is a tractor here, there is an vehicle here. A vehicle cannot be run by itself, there has to be some person who is driving the vehicle, that here we are considering him as labor. Then the third factor of production is capital. So capital in economics or commerce means nothing but money, or we can say investment. Money or investment. See, if the paddy is to be converted as rice, we need to purchase machinery, we need to own the land, we need to provide wages or salary for the labor. Okay, some money is required. Definitely, for carrying on any activity, we require some money. That is nothing but capital here. Okay, for producing the goods, for producing the products, what money is required by the producer is called as capital here. Then at last we have entrepreneur, or we can also call it as organization. Fourth factor of production is entrepreneur or organization. An entrepreneur is nothing but a businessman, we can say. Okay, or again a manager, a personnel who takes care of all the factors of production, who makes sure that all the remaining factor of production are working in a proper manner. Okay, he is the one who manages all the manufacturing activities, right? So the four factors of production are land, labor, capital, and organization or entrepreneur. Okay. Now it is also important to know what is the reward for our factors of production. Reward is nothing but the return. Okay. If we are using land for factor of production, what return we can get for using the land? The reward for land is rent. Okay. Then the reward for labor is when a labor is working in an industry, in return he is getting wages. We discussed wages is nothing but money which is provided on daily basis. Okay. Then when we are investing capital, the return that we are getting on capital is interest. Okay. Then the last factor of production is entrepreneur. When the entrepreneur looks after all the factors of production, he produces the goods, he manufactures the goods. Okay. When he sells the goods into the market, when the goods are sold into the market, then he will get some money in return, right? So it includes profit for him. When the goods manufactured by the manufacturer or producer are sold into the markets, it involves certain profit. So the reward for entrepreneur or a businessman or a manufacturer is profit. Okay, so that's all for today. So thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, also share the video with your friends. And there is another one thing. So there is a blog of mine which includes all the important question and answers and notes relating to the same topic. Okay, you can visit the blog, you can make the notes. Okay, you can refer the question and answers. Link for the blog will be provided in the description box below as well as in the comment section below. You can visit the blog through the link, and I hope to see you all in my upcoming sessions. Till that, happy learning.